present la Corporate Services Solution. Ilé-iṣẹ́ kan ṣoṣo tí wọ́n ti ń bá ní gbèrú káàkiri orígun mẹ́rẹ̀ẹ̀rin àgbáláyé. Bóyá ẹ fẹ́ gbèrú láti àwọn àyíká káàkiri orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà. Bóyá ẹ fẹ́ fẹ́rù ránṣẹ́ tẹ́ ò fẹ́ kẹ́rù yóò wọ one time. Lápò ni ẹ máa bọ̀, ibẹ̀ nìkan lẹ ti lè fẹ́rù ránṣẹ́ tẹ́rù yóò ní bọ́wọ́ ìgbà bẹ́ẹ̀. Òun nìkan làwọn afọwọ́ ìsọ̀yà. Ilé-iṣẹ́ kan ṣoṣo tó léwájú àwọn ẹlẹgbẹ́. Wọ́n wà ní Sunnyside, Excellence Tower, room 518, 202 Road Back to Bukwe Street, Pretoria, South Africa. Ẹ lè pè wọ́n sórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí. +278-425-4494 tàbí 0735-805333. La Corporate Services Solution. Aṣíwájú láàrin àwọn ẹlẹgbẹ́. Best among others. Powered by the African Portal Radio TV. The African Portal Radio TV present la Corporate Services Solution. Ilé-iṣẹ́ kan ṣoṣo tí wọ́n ti ń bá ní gbèrú káàkiri orígun mẹ́rẹ̀ẹ̀rin àgbáláyé. Bóyá ẹ fẹ́ gbèrú láti àwọn àyíká káàkiri orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà. Bóyá ẹ fẹ́ fẹ́rù ránṣẹ́ tẹ́ ò fẹ́ kẹ́rù yóò wọ one time. Lápò ni ẹ máa bọ̀, ibẹ̀ nìkan lẹ ti lè fẹ́rù ránṣẹ́ tẹ́rù yóò ní bọ́wọ́ ìgbà bẹ́ẹ̀. Òun nìkan làwọn afọwọ́ ìsọ̀yà. Ilé-iṣẹ́ kan ṣoṣo tó léwájú àwọn ẹlẹgbẹ́. Wọ́n wà ní Sunnyside, Excellence Tower, room 518, 202 Road Back to Bukwe Street, Pretoria, South Africa. Ẹ lè pè wọ́n sórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí. +278-425-4494 tàbí 0735-805333. La Corporate Services Solution. Aṣíwájú láàrin àwọn ẹlẹgbẹ́. Best among others. Powered by the African Portal Radio TV.
Sincerely welcome everyone, no matter where you are, no matter the country you reside. I want to welcome you to this broadcast this hour. It's going to be a great time. We're just waiting for the monarch to connect to this program as we going to start this on the iTempo. This is the African Portal Radio TV International. Welcome everyone to another great time on this radio station.
The African Portal Radio TV present la Corporate Services Solution. Ilé-iṣẹ́ kan ṣoṣo tí wọ́n ti ń bá ní gbèrú káàkiri orígun mẹ́rẹ̀ẹ̀rin àgbáláyé. Bóyá ẹ fẹ́ gbèrú láti àwọn àyíká káàkiri orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà. Bóyá ẹ fẹ́ fẹ́rù ránṣẹ́ tẹ́ ò fẹ́ kẹ́rù yóò wọ one time. Lápò ni ẹ máa bọ̀, ibẹ̀ nìkan lẹ ti lè fẹ́rù ránṣẹ́ tẹ́rù yóò ní bọ́wọ́ ìgbà bẹ́ẹ̀. Òun nìkan làwọn afọwọ́ ìsọ̀yà. Ilé-iṣẹ́ kan ṣoṣo tó léwájú àwọn ẹlẹgbẹ́. Wọ́n wà ní Sunnyside, Excellence Tower, room 518, 202 Road Back to Bukwe Street, Pretoria, South Africa. Ẹ lè pè wọ́n sórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí. +278-425-4494 tàbí 0735-805333. La Corporate Services Solution. Aṣíwájú láàrin àwọn ẹlẹgbẹ́. Best among others. Powered by the African Portal Radio TV.
Program that we put together to promote African culture and to bring the reality out on what we call Africa. So if you are coming in and you are just joining this program, I just want you to do me a favor. Please share this program. The more you share it, the more you give it opportunity to go viral. Please share it. Share it as many times as possible. Let's do it together. Together we can do it. It's happening raw right here, right now on the African Portal Radio TV International. For everyone that want to connect or call me, you can call me on +277 033 3584. That is the number to call. In case if there is a load shedding in this area during this program, please kindly bear with us as we're going to switch on back to our backup. So if electricity went off, we have a backup that we're going to switch on to the to back up. Unfortunately, South Africa is experiencing load shedding these days, so we are affected by that as well. But as you are connecting, I want to sincerely thank every one of you that you are already connecting. Please share, like, comment, let this go viral. We have advertised this many times, and I expect a lot of people to connect to this broadcast this hour. So let's do it together. Let's roll it together. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's do it together. Together we can only get better and better and better. It's going to be coming your way every Saturday, and it's going to be for every one of us that we believe in African culture, that we believe in who we are, that we believe in our background, that we believe on the challenges facing Africa at the moment. Africa is on the rise. That is the program on the African portal right now. But if we are talking about African being on the rise, are we really on the rise? That is the question that needs to be answered. So let's be realistic. Let's face the reality. Please share this program. Share it, share it, share it as many times as possible. Share it. Let other people see it as well. Together we can only get better. So keep sharing it, keep sharing it, keep sharing it. Let this go viral. I'm expecting a lot of people to come on board. Let's do it together. Let's roll it together. Let's jiggle it together. His Excellency will be joining us on this program as well. His Royal Majesty will be joining us on this program as well. That we're going to be having this conversation together. Supreme Council of African Son and Daughter is going to be a program that you actually need to share. You need to share it. Supreme Council of African Ancestral Kings and Royalty, Scoaakar, is live and direct on the African Portal Radio TV International right here, right now. And we are going to be having this conversation together with His Excellency on the program that is going to be our guest on this program. And we are going to be doing this program every week. It's going to focus on the progress, the way, the solution, and the what can we do in times such as this. As some of our culture, language is disappearing. What can we do? Western have take our children on hostage, and their content is trending on African media space. So we are putting this together to buy the glory, to restore the glory of African back, and to make sure that Africa back on their feet, to promote their language, who we are, our personality, and we can always get better and better and better. So let's do it together. Let's watch this program. Let's share this program. Let somebody that also love good things, let them join this program. Let's roll this together. Let's get it rolling, roll out together. We can do better and better and better. So I plead to you to please join this program this hour. If I'm having my guests in the studio, I will continue and I will start. Before that, let me greet everyone, no matter where you are, no matter the country you reside. I greet you according to your time zone, and I greet you according to your language. In South Africa, Dumela, Ashe, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all the Muslim brothers and sisters in all over the world and in northern part of Africa. Shalom to every Christian in Jerusalem. Shalom to everyone. And bonjour in French-speaking country. In English-speaking country, hello in Angola and other part of the world, I say obrigado. And in other part of the world, in South Africa, East Africa, North Africa, Abarisa, Muchana. And Nigeria, I greet you in northern part of Nigeria. I greet you, I say in Nakwana. And in eastern part of Africa, I say Kedu. Welcome to the African Portal Radio TV International. It's going to be a Royal Rumble show that we're going to be having the conversation with one of the monarch in the studio that we are going to be having this conversation together. So it can only get better and better and better and better again on the African Portal Radio. The more you share it, the more you give it opportunity to go viral. So keep sharing it, keep sharing it, keep sharing it, keep sharing it. Let this go viral. I'm expecting a lot of people to join this conversation this hour. So please kindly join. Let's promote our culture. Let's promote our diversity. Let's promote who we are. It is our own. Let's promote it. Let's let the world know that Africa, we have what it takes to govern ourselves. Let's let the world know that Africa, we are the independent nation and we can run our own affairs by ourselves. So let's fight for our freedom. Let's fight for African states. Let's fight for the growth of Africa. God bless Africa. And God bless those of you connecting. I really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much for the pleasure of your time. Keep watching it. Keep sharing it. Let this go viral. The more you share it, the more you give it opportunity to go viral. So please keep sharing it. 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 Let it go viral. Let a lot of people around the world know that something is happening right now, right here on the African Portal Radio TV International. Still waiting for His Excellency to connect with us on this program. As we are just waiting for him to connect, we believe that there are so many things that we need to do on this program. Let me quickly use that opportunity as well to reintroduce myself. My name is Joshua Oludare Oluson. I am the author and the owner of the African Portal, the presenter of this program coming to your way to broadcast, to promote, to bring African back on the spotlight, and to talk about the growth, the good things about Africa, the ups and downs, and things that you need to know about Africa. And we are live and direct here in Pretoria, South Africa. Let's do it together. Please come out. Let's do it together. It can only get better and better and better when all of us put hands together to make this work. So let's make it work. Share, like, comment. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the culture. Let's talk about Africa. Let's talk about the coming election. Let's talk about how we can be in peace with one another. So I beg you, please, if you are connecting to this program, kindly share this program. Share this program. Share this program. And I would really appreciate you to call me as well on +27 703 3584. For those of you that would like to speak to me, you can comment directly on that number I put on the spotlight. Join us. Let's roll it together. Let's get the ball rolling. Those are the few questions that we are going to be having for you. Introduction of this Scoaakar and also vision and mission. Who is an ancestral king and what is the difference between ancestral king and royal king? And also importance of the African culture and tradition in line with our identity as a continent, way of sustainability and accessibility of culture and tradition. Thank you very much. Those are the questions that we'll be doing justice to. We are just waiting to get His Excellency on this line as we are running out of the time. We are believing that he's going to connect with us anytime soon, and we are going to start this program on high tempo. It's already 16 minutes after 2 here in Pretoria, South Africa, and that is 60 minutes after 1 o'clock in Nigeria. So please, I'm expecting a lot of people to please connect to this broadcast this hour. Connect, share, like, let's do it together. We can only get better and better and better again. So let's roll it together. Let's jingle it together. Let's make it happen together. Let's make Africa great once more. It's our turn to bring Africa back on the spotlight where it belongs. So join us. Let's do it together. We cannot do it alone. We can only do it with your support. So if you want to advertise your business on the African Portal, or you want us to put you on the spotlight, or you have a birthday coming and you want us to put you on the spotlight, you want us to spread your news across the globe, call the African Portal on +27 78 703 3584. Call now. You will never regret on saying so. And I will personally receive that call and attend to everything that you needed. So please kindly join us. Let's do it together. Let's do it together. Let's do it together. It's going to be a great day. It's going to be a lovely, beautiful hour on the African Portal Radio TV International. Let's quickly get one or two things right before we continue with this program, because we have many things that is needs to be clarified to our people listening to us. Election is coming in Nigeria in this year, and a lot of people have been panicking about it. A lot of people have been predicting. A lot of people have been campaigning, and we want to know what is your thoughts. Who do you think is going to be next president of Nigeria? What is your own belief in that person, and how sure are you that that person can rule Nigeria? Let's deal with that problem, and let's sort that problem out once and for all, so that we can be able to have a closure and move on. And thanks to everyone that joined us yesterday as we put Baba Fatai Rolling Dollar on the spotlight to celebrate his music career and also to appreciate his work around the world. A lot of people want us to also bring as many people as possible on the spotlight, but we believe that with your support, we can only get better and better and better. So support us, let's do it together. Support us, let's get it rolling. Support us, let's make Africa great once more. Africa is a continent that flows with milk and honey, and we have to tap into that wealth and enjoy what rightfully belongs to us as Africa. In past days, people have been mistreating us, people have been mistelling our stories, people have been taking things around that is not about Africa, but Africa have decided to take their life into their hands and bring the solution to some of these wrong perspective about Africa. His Excellency already in the studio right now. We are going to be bringing him onto the spotlight so that we can start the conversation right from here. We already spent about almost 20 minutes of this program, and we have just few minutes to go. We have about 40 minutes to round up this program. 20 minutes already gone. So let's just keep on sharing this program. The more you share this program, the more you give it opportunity to go viral. So please, I'm pleading to everyone that is watching us, that is connected with us, please share this program, share this program, share this program, share it as many times as possible. We can only get better and better and better. By you sharing this program, you're giving it opportunity to go viral. It's a special program putting together to bring our continent on the spotlight and also to attend to some of the issues facing our continent, Africa. Africa, it's time to wake up to reality of time. It's time to tell our story. Africa, African, let's do it. Together we can, together we will. Let me use this time to welcome His Excellency into this broadcast this hour. So it is my great pleasure to have you on board this hour, and I really appreciate it that you finally made it happen. We've been talking about it. We've been looking forward to it. We've been worried about it. That is it going to be possible? But finally, God has made it possible. We are in it already. It has been achieved. It's a great achievement for the African continent, and it's a great achievement for everyone that is called Africa. It's a great achievement for the incoming generation, because it's a classroom where you can learn from your culture, where you can learn about who you are, where you are, and what makes us unique. And that is the program that we are having now with His Excellency HRH King Professor Ambassador Engineer Uche Promise. It's live and direct on the African Portal Radio TV. So if you are just connecting, please kindly share it, share it, share it. Let's do it together. Let's do it together. Let's get it done. And together we can only get better. Let me welcome you, sir, to another beautiful time on this African Portal Radio TV International. It's a beautiful broadcast, and it's a time that we need to have a sober reflection on our challenges, on things that is destroying us, things that is breaking us, and things that's not letting this continent go forward. Sir, let me allow you. You are not new to this house, but kindly introduce yourself to the listeners at home before we get into the business.
Yeah, thank you. It's a great pleasure to be on this platform again. On behalf of the Supreme Council of African Ancestral Kings and Royalty, I am His Royal Excellency, King Professor Ambassador Engineer Onyete Promise Obinna, Eze Ikemba I, Onyishi Alolapa Agrishi, the Supreme Commander of the Supreme Council. Thank you for this honor and opportunity.
Great. We are so delighted and we are so happy to have you on this broadcast this hour. It's overdue and we've been talking about it, but we thank God that we finally achieved this and we finally get you onto this program to allow you to speak to Africa, speak to everyone in the continent, outside the continent, in diaspora, and also we need to face the reality about our culture, our heritage, our education system, and also our personality. All this mentioned is what makes a man, because if you fail on one, you fail on all. And that is why we put it upon ourselves that, okay, let's address this issue once and for all. Let's find a permanent solution to some of the challenges, and let's come up with the strategies that we can use to bring solution to the one we cannot undo here. And that is why this program is coming to you from the African Pulse Radio TV International here in Victoria, South Africa. And I have a few questions that I'm going to throw to my king in the house, that we are going to be looking at this together, and it's going to do justice to them together. So before we go into that, sir, let's quickly understand the Supreme Council of African Ancestral King and Royalty, Scoaakar. What is it all about, and what is their duty, especially in the 21st century?
Yeah, thank you. The Supreme Council of African Ancestral Kings and Royalty, as the name implies, is a council of ancestral kings.
Is the council of the ancestral king. All right, sir. What is their duty and what are they doing, and how can people actually become the member of this council? His Excellency, are you there, sir? All right. It seems that we actually have a challenge with their network there. All right. Are you there, sir?
I believe the network has been corrected.
Yes, I see that.
There was a little interruption.
You can continue, sir.
Yeah, like I said, the Supreme Council, as the name implies, is the council for ancestral kings of Africa, whose core mandate and responsibility is to see to the sustenance of the African true culture and tradition. And it is a council that encompasses the core ancestral traditional rulers, the Ofo holders, the elders, and the key traditional decision makers within the African continent. It is very important to note that the membership of this council cuts across the 54 countries in Africa, which by our network of coordination, we have been able to reach out to all Africans in diaspora who, by the virtue of the slave trade, were taken away forcefully to unknown land, whereby they are seen as citizens today. So the activity of the Supreme Council stretches out in reaching out to all these, our lost generations, in trying to reconnect them back to their root, which by our cooperation and coordinations, we have the Return Back Africa as a project. We have the Still Black Africa as a project. We have a lot of them in Europe, in America. We have organizations that is aligned to the visions and missions of the Supreme Council in order to reconnect our people back to their root. So all ancestral kings within the African continent are members of the Supreme Council. Some of them have been fully certified and inducted, while some are still in the process. Because before you become a member of the Supreme Council, you must be properly examined to be an ancestral king. When we get to the main topics of discussion, we'll enlighten us more on who is an ancestral king and who is just a royal king. So we will understand the intricacies between an ancestral king and a royal king and the importance of the both, their roles, their duties in keeping to culture and tradition. So under the Supreme Council, our mission is to vehemently protect and to defend the cultural heritages, the cultural practices, the ethics and values, our ingenuity, our originality as Africans. And our vision is to ensure that we translate the core lifestyle that kept us as Africans with a lethal inflation of modernity, not selling out, not allowing civilization to erode our original identity as a people. In any way, any form or manner, we have to achieve this, we must achieve it. Because civilization has eaten so much into the fabrics of our culture, and our people are losing touch with the true culture of the African continent. So that's what the Supreme Council stands for, and that is what we stand to also do and to defend. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate that information putting out there. And a lot of people are connecting with us and giving us a lot of thumbs up. A lot of people are saying that we are doing a great job. A lot of people love what we are doing. A lot of people are actually appreciating you, Israel, and that you are one of the great leaders that understand what it is to build a community. I'm getting a lot of feedback and I really appreciate that. But for those of you connecting, please share this program. Share this program. Share it as many times as possible. Share it. Let it go viral. The more you share it, the more you give it opportunity to go viral. And if you don't share it, you are actually, delaying this progress that we are talking about. So if you are part of this conversation, liberating Africa, making Africa the one Africa, making sure Africa is using their own resources to benefit their life. And that is one of the key things that we needed in this journey. So let me take you to the second question, which is the vision and mission of this organization. What are the vision and mission of this organization? What is do and don't? What is guiding this organization? And what is the role of Burundi of this organization?
Yeah, our mission, like I said, is an ancestral mandate. Supreme Council of Ancestral Kings are kings who has no subjectivity, who has no loyalty to any form of human influence or affluence, be it government, be it religious, or be it social. The mandate of ancestral kings are called ancestral, meaning that ancestral kings do the bidding of their ancestors. The wish of our ancestors are what we keep to. An ancestral king is not a king who operates under the auspices of the staff of authority of any government or any individual. The staff of authority of an ancestral king is the ancestral staff that makes him a king. In my clan, we call it the Ofo. And as an ancestral king, he must be aligned to Ndiche, who are your ancestors. The soul and the spirits of your ancestors guides you. You commune with them. You dedicate your time with them. You listen to their advices because they are always there. They speak to you at the right time. When there are issues to go wrong in the land, they send their messages and also provide solutions to some certain issues. So our mission is to keep sustaining that desire which our founding fathers as ancestors had in mind in modeling Africa as a continent with so much culture, so much heritage, and so much tradition. If you dig deep, you understand that culture is a people's way of life. And though within the existence of a people, there are things that makes up the people. The way they dress, the language they speak, the kind of food they eat, the kind of houses they live in, the trades they indulge in. All these things are ancestral. They are cultural. So the totality of the activity of a people within a confine, a location, is culture. And they weren't the current existing inhabitants of those locations are not the people that founded those lands. There are people that lived there some hundreds of years ago as their ancestors, who defined the purpose behind the name they bear as a kingdom, why they have to dress the way they dress, the language they speak, the kind of businesses they indulge in. Now, it is the duty of the ancestral kings to ensure that those defined traditions and the cultural practices of their people are maintained, sustained, and transferred to generations born and unborn. So they are the keepers, they are the defenders, and they are the holders of the African true value and identity. So our mission is to continue to sustain that which we have been handed over in terms of culture and traditional practices, to educate Africans, both African Americans, Africans in diaspora, Africans in Africa, to continue to place caution, to continue to remind them of the importance of our tradition, of the importance of our culture, of the importance of our true identity, our values, our ethics, And that is our mission. And our vision is to continue to revolutionize, to continue to civilize in the African way, not in the colonial way. There is civility in Africa. There is content in Africa. There is originality in Africa. Civilization started from Africa. Scientific discovery started in Africa. Technology started in Africa. Development started in Africa. How come today Africans are not seen as the most developed, the most scientifically inclined, the most technologically advanced? Why are we still wallowing and being seen as underdeveloped continent, non-technologically advanced continent, non-civilized continent, to the point that we are being seen as animals in the forest, which is one of the highest causes of racism in the world. So our vision is to change the narrative. Our vision is to rebuild our self-consciousness. Our vision is to grow our self-esteem. Our vision is to institutionalize the African traditional and cultural institutions. Our vision is to re-educate our young ones of our history, of our identity, our true identities as Africans. Is to remind them of the beauty in our cultural diversity. Is to remind Africans of the importance of our unity as a people. These are our missions and visions. And these are the things we intend to bring to bear, to bring to limelight, to discuss on this spotlight, to bring into revolutionary knowledge of a proper understanding of why Africa is Africa, why we must practice our culture and tradition, why we must uphold our originality, our identity, and our value as a people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate that. That is the vision and mission of this great organization. And there's a lot of questions that is coming to my head. And so let me just quickly take you a bit around that before we go to the next question, because it's very important that we have some clarity on this. But as you are giving us the vision and mission, something just struck to my heart and saying that, but why is it that now the kings are not in charge of their kingdom, but the government is the one choosing who is going to be the king, who is going to lead the city, and at the same time, the government is the one giving them whatever they want to give them and direct them the way they want. Why that, and what caused that?
The origin of government interference on the activities of traditional institutions is dated back to the invasion of the colonials or the colonies to the ancient kingdom of the Great Benin Kingdom. Democracy in Africa is a Western system of leadership. The structure of democracy today in Nigeria is purely British. Despite that, we are not practicing in totality of the model the British handed over to us. The Queen, in her glory, through the report of the colonial masters then, was briefed of the rich cultural values of the Great Benin Kingdom. and the resistance they faced during their sojourn within the Great Benin Kingdom and their territories. The queen invaded with her might and unleashed terror on the kingdom, splitting the sons and the daughters and the inhabitants of the ancient kingdom to scatter and shatter across Africa. Now, they made it a mandate that the authorities of kingship shouldn't be recognized, that the powers of kingship should be demeaned and reduced because it affects their ulterior motives. It affects their marginalization. It affects their dubious intention. Because the king sitting in his ancestral authority reserved the right to the ancestral powers and divinity to cast whatever aspiration on anybody. The Bible records, even the Bible they brought Africa records that the king has the power to kill and to keep alive. By the powers of the Ofo, whatsoever an ancestral king decrees, starts, the king has the right to decree somebody mad and the person goes mad. So the colonial master didn't find it funny. You can hear instances where the ancestral beings killed a lot of them, where the deities were invoked against them. Some rivers they could not cross because they were ancestral rivers, they were submerged. A lot of things happened to them. So when they saw that the true African culture forbids lies, forbids deceit, forbids robbing Peter to pay Paul, forbids nepotism, they decided to clamp down on kingship. And that is where our modern day democratic leaders are taking a key from. Any king that is not political becomes a threat to politicians. And they make sure they make you irrelevant. They make sure they elect a king in your kingdom and issue him a staff of office calling it government recognized traditional ruler. So if you are not recognized by them, they did not trade with you, they did not align the administrations to you, and they did not recognize your activities. That is the origin of what we are facing in Africa today. And it's very unfortunate that the so-called Africans have not realized the intention of balkanizing the traditional institutions. In the constitution, there is a provision for the fourth tier of government. The first tier is the federal, the second tier is the state, the third tier is the local government, and the fourth tier is the traditional institutions. But under amendment, they have smuggled the traditional institution to be under the local government authority, which is not supposed to be. The traditional institutions should be an administration on its own to run as a check and balances to the activities of the democratically elected government on the welfare of their citizens. As kings, it is the role of king to call a sitting governor or a president to order on his excesses. But it is often said that he who pays the piper dictates the tone. So if a governor made you a king and gave his staff of office, can you call him to order? You cannot call him to order because he's your master. So I cry for Africa. I weep for Africa. A man whose tenure is 8 years in the office will stand to usurp the authority of the ancestors and jeopardize the general interest of generations born and unborn, crowning people who lack traditional whims and caprices to sit on reference tools and dish out laws governing the ancestral authorities of the land. It is quite absurd. It is quite unacceptable. And it is very, very regrettable, because we are just seeing the beginning. Very soon, our culture will go into extinction if nothing is done. And that is why the Supreme Council has stood at this very important time with our alliances with all authorities of the world, certified and endorsed to stand in between the gap, to correct and to check all these excesses. We are not acting under any authority of any government. We are acting under the authority of our ancestors. And anyone that dares to challenge the will of the ancestors will face the wrath of the gods. Because we have invoked all the offers. And our ancestors are alive, and they are ready and willing to fight whomsoever that stand on their way. Nobody fights with his God and goes scot-free. And no one fights with the spirit and forgets to tell the story. It is time for Africa, and nobody can stop it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm gaining momentum on this, and I'm also, this program is gaining momentum out there. And I like the passion that His Excellency is making this clear and spelling this out. And everyone join us, please kindly share this program. This is a reality talk show that we go over around the world, and we are putting it together for the incoming generation, for them to see the reality. So before I go to the next question, this one we are talking about, there are so many questions inside it. Let's look at Ofon, which is Opashe in Yoruba. The Yoruba call it Opashe. But the Ofon today, it becomes something that is not really having strength anymore. Because you see, the politician are the one electing the king to be on the throne, and they are the one handing over the staff of office to them. Is this staff of office, is it the same thing as Ofon or Opashe, or there is difference between the staff of office the government is handing over to the king and the Ofon? Is there any difference between them?
There is a clear difference between an Ofon and a staff of office. An Ofon is the symbol of authority, an ancestral symbol of authority of a land. And every Ofon has a special way to reference it. The Ofon is a holy and sacred ancestral ornament. It's not everybody that lays his hands on the Ofon. Ofon has a keeper, and the keeper must be pure spiritually and physically. The Ofon is the ancestral spirit to checkmate. It's a vessel to checkmate the activities of even the king. An ancestral king that commits evil and goes to the Ofon will be smitten by the Ofon. The Ofon is a symbol of justice, truth, and fairness. And it is not all kings you see today whose kingship come through the Ofon. Any elected king cannot handle an ancestral Ofon, except the election is between an ancestral collection of those whose kingship gets to. There could be 2 or 3 families who are born to be kings as ancestral kings. And if there are very able and capable representatives of those families who show interest on the kingship, these 3 persons can be taken to the deity for a cleansing process and endorsement process. So during that cleansing and endorsement process, the gods chooses who will handle the Ofon. There are a lot of ways to do it traditionally, and you get the one the Ofon rightfully falls on. But in some communities, what they resort to now is to elect amongst the members of such ruling house who enthrones. But traditionally, you don't choose a king for the gods. The gods chooses who becomes the king. So when it comes to the staff of office of government, it is a way government recognizes the kings that are working with them. It has no spiritual implication. It is a physical exercise where you issue somebody a certificate and a statue. That staff has no spiritual or ancestral alliance with the kings. It is a symbol of identity to show that you are a government king. And they do the business of government, the administrations of government, the wishes of government are the things they do. Now, when it comes to ancestral kings are like living deities. And the ancestral king has a special day he observes in a week as a spiritual day. That day he offers sacrifices to the gods, because you must feed the gods. They have a special meal they eat. You feed them, you don't starve them. And that brings me to your question, why some Ofo or Ashe are not working. When you starve a child, the child observes what we call stunted growth. And the child will not have the strength to go to errands for you. But if you feed the child very well, the child grows well, the child is always happy. When you call on the child to go for an errand for you, that child will run to deliver your bidding. It's a natural thing. And that is why some of us are not working. Because the people who oppose the Ofo, they don't observe the spiritual days of the Ofo. They don't keep the Ofo holy. They don't feed the Ofo. They don't come in with the Ofo. You must come in with the Ofo. You must consult the Ofo. You must feed the Ofo. And you must make the Ofo happy. In order for the Ofo to be active, to be very, very proactive as well. So a lot has gone wrong. Those who are sitting on the traditional stools do not understand the implication of the stools they sit in. And that is why you hardly see kings now that live up to 100 years. Some of them by 60, 70, they die. One of the importance of kingship is longevity. Ancestral king stays on the stool for over 100, 110 years. Because they perform what we call the Ndiche ritual. It's an ancient ancestral ritual that keeps a king living long. The Ndiche ritual ushers in the act of longevity in the life of a king. And you must perform it at least once every month. As an Ofo holder, you must do your Ndiche ritual at least once every month. Now the Ofo ritual, you must do it once every week. If your market day falls on a Eke, you will do your Ofo ritual on Eke. If it falls on Orie, you will do yours on Orie. If it falls on Afo, you will do it on Afo. If it falls on Nkwo, you will do it on Nkwo day. So when you do these things, observe the spiritual aspect of your form. Anytime you make demands, the gods will strike, because you value them, you reference them, and you are in communication with them. It is often said that the way a child holds his God is the way his God holds the child. So if you lose touch with your ancestors, they will lose grip with you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, His Excellency. I really appreciate this, and this is getting more interesting because a lot of people have mixed it together, and that is why you see the royalty become a mess, and everybody is calling themselves king without even belongs to the kingship. And these are the things that is messing up Africa. Our culture is not being respected. Our language is disappearing. Our king, our monarch has been like they are nowhere to be found, and things is not working well in Africa. And we have to go back to the basics for us to be able to address this problem. And that is why we put this program together. We are not identifying the problem, but we are the solution to the problem. So we are not part of the problem, rather we are the part of the solution. And I really appreciate those of you that you are connected. Thank you very much, Victor Olupona. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the comments there. Keep sharing it, keep talking about it. I'm still expecting a lot of people to connect to this because this have a lot to do with us, and it have a lot to do with who we are. So let me just quickly move a bit faster because of our time. We already about 1 hour on this program. This is 56 minutes, and this program was designed for 1 hour. But thank God that we still have the power in this part of the world that we can still continue on this program, even though we already make a room for the backup in case if the electricity go off. But we really appreciate everyone joining us. Thank you very much. So you have explained it, question 3 a bit. I don't think we need to go back to it. Let's move a bit. We can still come back to it and look to it again. Importance of African culture and tradition in line with our identity as a continent. Let's quickly deal with that. Do we really have our identity? Because it's like our originality have disappeared. Our identity have disappeared. Our children are graduating from age of 6 months to age of 3. We are putting them into Western ideology. And Western ideology have created a system, which is the cartoon, that is just taking them right from their childhood into their system. You see the children doesn't have interest in our language anymore. They speak more of English because the cartoons they were watching when they were born was in English. So they grew up to know English, and they see English as only authentic language. The identity you are mentioning here, I just want us to quickly deal with this before we go to the last question.
Yeah, thank you. Like I said, the culture of a people is their true identity. Anywhere you see me, I am dressed as an ancestral king. And by my mode of dressing, you know that I am coming from River State. And not just River State, I am coming from the upland of it. Because the way the riverine dress in River State is different from the way the upland dress in River State. The upland kings. But we have a common kingship attire. Where when you see, you say this man is from River State. So our identity and the importance of originality cannot be overemphasized. The true African identity runs down to the strength of our language. As an African, we must take it as a point of duty as parents to teach our kids their mother tongue. And that is why before a child enrolls into any institution of learning, the parents should first of all teach that child the first language the child should know in life, which is his or her true cultural language. That's the basic language a child should know first. And it is the role of parents to do that. Some feel that when their child speaks their native language, that means the child is not educated or the child is not exposed. There is beauty in a child speaking his or her native language. So that when the child goes into any institution of learning, he can be able to integrate that first language. That's why it's called the mother tongue. It is the first language a child should know in life. And that will prepare the child in doing other languages. You will see somebody from the Yoruba
His Excellency, let me just please to you, please. We have a guest. I mean, someone calling in to also join the conversation, and this is one of the things that we can do to also allow the public as well to be part of this conversation.
Yeah.
So I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, sir. Let's quickly take this call and let's hear from this caller. It's a good day here. We are live and direct on the African Portal Radio TV International. Please, who's on the line?
Hello, good afternoon. This is Mr. Victor.
Mr. Peter Olupono, thank you very much. I can see your comment on the comment section. I really appreciate it. Thank you for connecting. We are having a very, very, very important conversation with His Excellency HRH King Professor Ambassador Engineer Oyeche Promise. And we are addressing a very, very important issue on this program. Do you have any contribution to what we are discussing?
Yes, our dear royal father has said it all, and I sincerely appreciate him for all he has been saying since. I just want to chip in. This civilization of a team has affected our own heritage, our own cultural values in an adverse way. It has really affected us badly. I want to ask our royal father, this issue of our culture, our heritage, what are they doing in order to safeguard the future of our culture, in order to safeguard the future of our children, in order to safeguard our own future, so that these white and British cultures will not wipe away all our culture, all our cultural values from beginning to the end. That is my question to my royal father.
Thank you very much. That's a very valid question. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you connecting to this broadcast this hour to be part of the conversation. You are calling from Johannesburg, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm calling from Johannesburg, South Africa.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Please do me a favor. Keep watching it. Keep sharing it. This is a conversation that is overdue, and it's the right time for us to address this. And if we fail to address it, the question you just asked now, one of the answers to it is what we are doing right now, because we have to prepare the future for the children. We have to have the communication. We have to have a conversation that we end the colonization ideology upon our generation and upon this current generation. So thank you very much for calling in. I really appreciate it. Please share this program, share it, invite more people to connect as we have a few minutes to round up this section. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. God bless you. All right, thank you very much. I really appreciate those of you connected with us. We just have a caller from Johannesburg, pitching. I mean, just pushing some interesting question around this conversation. And what he's saying is what we are doing right now. Is just want to ask from you, sir. What are you doing, or what can we do to make sure that we safeguard and we keep our cultural heritage alive, especially for the incoming generation? So you can continue with what you are.
That is a very brilliant question. And like you rightly said, putting up this platform is one of the action plans in safeguarding our culture and tradition. Now, on the quick win, every kingdom should, as a matter of fact and urgency, build a traditional or a cultural museum in their kingdom. The cultural museum should be able to spell out in totality the true origin of each kingdom, with pictorial and historic display or portraits of how this kingdom came to be where they are, their ancestral roots, their originality and ingenuity as a people. Every kingdom should be able to institutionalize a museum, a historium, where the young lads can go and make research, ask questions about whom they are, why are they the Igbos, or why are they Yoruba, why are they Hausa? Questions, a lot of questions in the hearts of these young ones left unanswered. But with forums like this, some of those questions can be answered. But for a quick one, we are going to issue out a communique through the Supreme Council advising all kings, especially ancestral kings. I know some kingdoms already have it. Some great kingdoms already have it. So it should be a basic requirement for kingdoms to be recognized under the Supreme Council. Every kingdom should have a museum where their cultural heritages can be displayed. And schools within every kingdom must adopt the mother tongue of those people. If it is schools in Yoruba land, the Yoruba language must be one basic language that must be learned in school. Be you a science student or an art student, you must study Yoruba language. If it's in Igbo land, same should be done. If it is in Hausa, same should be done. The mother tongue or the cultural lingual franca of a people must be included in the curriculum of the school. When you get the language, when you get the history, it becomes easier. If a child can speak its or her mother tongue, the child will not forget that he is from that place. The consciousness of your identity and originality begins to drop when you stop to speak your mother tongue. The consciousness begins to drop when you stop to dress in your native attires. The consciousness begins to drop when you start to forget your traditional market days. These are primary activities that keeps one conscious of whom he is. When you start to eat your traditional meals, the meals culture inhabits in your place. When you stop eating them, maybe you go to an environment you don't see them anymore to eat. At a point you lose taste of them. You won't even remember how your native foods have been made again. So, in totality, the activities of civilization has a kind of drifted our people from culture, our true culture and traditional practices. But when there is consciousness, by constant reprimanding of our subconsciousness, our people will begin to go back. When they understand the importance, like what I'm about to say now, if you are a son of Yoruba, Igbo, or Hausa, and you don't understand that there is a blessing attached to you, identify with your ancestors, your success begins to diminish. Trace back to successful men in Africa. They don't joke with their culture. They don't joke with their tradition. They identify with their elders. They identify with their land. They pay allegiance to their land. So when you fail to pledge your allegiance to your land, you begin to drift away from reality. So kings and kingdoms should build museums. Our parents should be reminded that their first point of call as parents is to teach their children their mother tongue. Our native attire despite whatever colonial infiltration that has drifted us away, should not be ignored or be made less relevant. With our native materials, you can make suits, you can make very beautiful gowns for the ladies, you can sew any style. There are good designers, fashion outfits, who has gone and gotten awards across the globe with African attires, great designers, record brands. Our music industry in Africa has taken over the world. And some of these songs are sung in our native language. It's sung in our mother tongue. And the world is beginning to know what is Oshe. Oshe means thank you. And the world has known that Oshe means thank you because there is a song sung by somebody where he said Oshe. And the Bugofe thing, name them. A lot of songs now that has taken over the world. Our son, Davido, the Adeleke. The Adeleke went and represented Africa during the World Cup. And some of the lyrics of the song they used in the collabo is a native language that was spoken there. So you can see through our trademarks, the music industry, the movie industry, the fashion industry, in fact, the entertainment industry in generality is an asset to Africa. So we must encourage them to produce contents that are purely cultural, contents that are traditional, contents that are African originality, contents that will project us in the good light, not in the bad light. I want to thank the Nigerian Film Censor Board on the restriction of movies that has to do with ritual, because at a point, almost 70% of the Nigerian movie were just based on rituals and making money through the wrong way. So the censor board has to place a ban on that. That is culture. You must culture a people. The aspect of placing caution on a system is also trying to culture the people. It's culture. Culture isn't all about language, food, and all that. Placing caution on wrong lifestyle is also culture. You see a maiden, you wear an outfit that is revealing. It's not African. You look at a lady, the breast is exposed, the pubic areas are exposed, and you are putting on a cloth. That is not African. It is absurd. It is against our value as a people. The maidens are brought up to look very beautiful, very appealing, but not very revealing. Not very revealing. When you marry and you are in your husband's house, when you are indoors, you can reveal whatever you want to reveal to your husband, not to the public. There's no secret anymore. People are exposing their private parts everywhere. Is that African culture? Is it our value? That is madness of the highest order. Before you approach a lady, I've already seen her nakedness. That is madness. It is not acceptable in Africa. It is not our thing. We are people culture, and the system and the government should stand up to their responsibility if they say they are government. Since they are taking over leadership from kings, they should do the bidding. They should be able to put restrictions on the kind of clothes we wear in public. There are clothes that are known for public. There are clothes that are known for party. There are clothes that are known for indoor. You can't be going to, now traditional marriages have turned to a porn site. Where you see that Shobi ladies, their breast, everything is out, their pants are showing. Is it our tradition? That is madness. It's unacceptable. And people who call themselves leaders should stand up to their responsibility to caution the system, to culture the system, to remind the system, and to put our people to the right sense of thoughts. We must not sit down anymore and watch things erode, watch things get out of hand. You cannot talk as a parent. You are cursed. Any parent that fails to train his or her child in a cultured way is cursed. Any church or religious institution that fails to culture their people, any kingdom that fails to culture their people, any society that fails to culture their people is cursed. Because you are not just doing it to yourself, you are doing it to the entire system. There are some African countries I watch on the news. When they see a lady that's not properly dressed, they'll strip you naked. So for the fear of not being stripping naked, ladies began to dress properly. These are actionable plans. Plans that should be encouraged. By the time you want to show the public your nakedness and they help you to strip you naked in public, next time you will be properly dressed. We know it's an extreme action, but sometimes some situation requires what? Extreme action. Some situations requires extreme action. So our culture cannot be overemphasized. What is tradition? Tradition is all about belief. The belief is tradition. Culture is action. Culture is all about action, but tradition is all about belief. I believe that I'm an Eche man. I'm from Umaka Dibia Ohiaji in Umako Olako Agrishi. I am Onishala, the commander of 8 deities, and Odumesu. And that is my belief. And that is me. And whenever I use my authority as a living deity, the work for me, I make command, the answer. My desires have been met. My aspirations in life have been met. Because I pledged my allegiance to my ancestors. And they are holding me strong and tight. That is my belief. So what is your belief? What is your belief? When you fail to believe in a workable system, not fairy tales, that miracle was somewhere. You had a miracle was somewhere, you believe that miracle was there. You don't know it's a stage miracle. They have made somebody to walk. They have raised the dead, and they bring 20 dead bodies, you cannot raise one. They bring 20 blind people, you cannot make them see. Stage miracles. Deceitful actions. Now, pastors in public, you claim you are performing miracle, you strip a lady naked in the church. Are you mad? Are you insane? Are you stupid? What kind of religious practice do we even indulge in? People dehumanizing people. People behaving in a very elusive and excessive way. And the government is quiet, looking at humanity being destroyed. And you say you are government? What kind of government are you? The divine mandate of government is to protect life and property. And when the life of people are being threatened by so much excessive and extreme religious practices, you are keeping quiet. Traditionally, the British and the colonies has balkanized our institutions. The kings can no longer talk and people listen. They look at government. Now the government that they are looking at has failed because the system has gone awoof. Total collapse. There is no consciousness. There is no fear. By African tradition, if you rape a lady, the gods will strike you dead. If you steal from somebody, the gods will strike you. If you take what does not belong to you, you are in problem, except to go and appease the gods. They made the traditional institutions to be weak so that they can have a field day in perpetuating evil. You kidnap somebody, you kill the person. Initially, when we are growing up, if you see a dead body on the street, you will run and forget your shoe. Just that you saw a dead body on the street, you will run and forget your shoe. Nowadays, dead bodies are littered everywhere. There is no feel for human life anymore. People are being sacrificed on the altar of merriment in the name of acquiring power, fake powers, occultic powers. Traditional powers has nothing to do with occultism. Any activity that exceeds the norms of nature is occultic, it's not traditional. And we must begin to separate traditional activities from occultic practices. A lot of people indulge in occultic practices, calling it traditional practices. They are not traditional practices, they are occultic practices. And as the day goes by, we shall be bringing in revelations to distinct occultic practices from traditional practices. And we'll be exposing and revealing the in-depth involvements and indulgements for the public to be conscious and to be careful. A lot of the religious bodies are indulging in occultic practices. A lot of the so-called traditional institutions who are just using tradition to cover up are indulging in occultic practices. And they say it's traditional practices. No tradition upholds or subjects some kind of things most people do. No tradition. And if you bring it to the institution where the offer is the supreme, some people will not live to see the next day, because the offer does not receive any man that indulges in human sacrifice. The offer does not accept human sacrifice anymore. Whoever that indulges in human sacrifice is not a true offer holder. Nature does not take what it holds there. Nature does not. And that is the principle of nature. You cannot destroy what you cannot make. So the human life, traditionally, when you kill a soul, the blood of that soul is on your head. And when the soul of that person is activated, the soul will hunt you and kill you. We know how we do it traditionally. When you kill somebody and they run away, we invoke the spirit of that person to go after you, and the spirit will strike you. We induce the spirit to go after you and avenge his or her death, and it will strike you. You cannot run away from it. So tradition forbids killing of innocent souls. And we cannot continue to keep quiet. Enough is enough. That is why this program has come to stay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, His Excellency. I really appreciate you coming out to actually spell it the way it is. I think it's the right time that we spell the beans, because these are overdue. We have been living in this so-called civilization, and things have been going wire. People are living without control. Look at the social media. Ladies are huffing their pints right in the public. Things are going out of hand like they don't have a parent. You even see the wife, a woman in somebody's house dancing with a bomb outside. We know all these things have been coming so rampant in our community, and I'm so surprised. Why are we like this? What is going on? I really appreciate it. Remember, this program is going to be coming your way every Saturday, and we are going to make sure that you enjoy it. We're going to make sure that we don't stretch it beyond the time, so that you can also stay tuned and enjoying it. I understand that people struggling to have data to watch some of the program in Africa. That is one of the systems they create around Africa. They make Africa poor to the extent that we cannot even afford data to watch the things that will be useful for us. But people can use data to watch 1 minute useless video of somebody that is naked himself on the social media. Please, let's watch the things that will add value to your life. Watch the things that will give you knowledge. Watch the things that will give you wisdom. Stop watching things that will corrupt your mind. Stop watching things that will destroy your future. Stop watching things that will not allow your children to see the goods of the land. Let's come up with a solution to all these problems. Sir, I really appreciate you, sir. I think we need to call it a day from here till next week that we're going to continue again. We already do justice to some of the questions, but we still have 1.8 billion questions that still needs to be answered. And at the same time, we still have a lot of things that needs to be trashed out. We cannot finish it in a day. The problem has been there for many, many years, and it cannot be solved in a day. So we are going to make sure that this is continuing. For everyone that wants to advertise on the African portal, kindly call me on the number on the screen, +277033584. And also, if you want to sponsor what we are doing, you are more than welcome. This is Africa, and we believe that putting this on the spotlight will solve some of the problem in Africa. But remember this: we're Africa, eat Africa, speak Africa. That is one of the solutions to the problems on the ground. Make sure you hit Africa, wear Africa, speak Africa. Let's embrace our diversity. Let's embrace our culture. Let our culture be the core things that we will embrace, and let's make sure that we uphold our values. Our value system is great. The Western destroys because they know that the only way to get to us is to destroy our value. Let's go back to the base. Let's embrace our value. So before I let you out of my way, a lot of people will be listening to us. I just want you to speak in your language, because that is the glory of it. To everyone listening around the world, bless them. Bless the African portal. Bless me. Bless everyone listening and everyone sharing in your own language. And I will round up this section with that.
Yeah, thank you. Before I do that, I want to say this. Under this platform, we'll be discussing the issue of baby mamas, which is trending now amongst our youth. It is a taboo in Africa, and we'll be discussing such issues. A lot of issues which are taboo in our culture. You see a young lady who is having her traditional wedding, carrying a wine, an English wine is a taboo. Every traditional bond as a marriage must be done with palm wine. Anything other than the traditional wine is a taboo. That marriage is not blessed. We'll be talking about those issues. We're bringing it on the spotlight. We'll be discussing same-sex marriage, homosexualism, lesbianism. These things are not African. It is a taboo, and we must discourage it in total. A lot of topics have been outlined, and every Saturday, like the anchorman rightly said, we'll be picking all these topics one after the other, talking about them and educating our people about them. On this note, Manasi Chineke Gojenu, Ashi Ozamira Nechechi, Kwabla Busha Obakana Keja Kwaya. Oke soro ngwere ma mmiri nke ngwere ọ maka oke. Ngwere ha kwa n'ukwu osisi aka pra ya. Mana shi ọhaneze ndị wepụtara oge iji ka n'ụpụta bịa gee ntị na ihe nye eme na ihe n'esikwanụ ka anyị kara nụ gbasara omenala anyị na ọdịmma mba Afrịka. Mana shi ya gachiri nụ benu nọ agara na-eri ọmakọ mmiri, benu na agara na-akụ ọmakọ mmiri. Ọbụla na-enye ọṅụ gị na-aga n'ihu. Ndụ n'oge dị ka echi na-anaghị agwụ agwụ. Achọtụrụ kpọkpa agba mbọ tụnugwu agba mbọ tụnugwu ọbụgwụ ka e mere akụ. Acha eji ezu ezu atọ ngụ udele maka udele wa nnukwu. Agwa amakwana hapụ ịmụ ha toro ogologo. Ọ na-eche eke nara oke n'elu shinu wetara n'akụ. Ore nara oke n'elu shinu wetara n'akụ. Nkwọ nara oke n'elu shinu ogologo ndụ ahụ isi ike. Afọ nara oke lọrọ n'ọgụ. Ha ọbụla ere ọkụ na ndụ nụ afọ fọgbuo ya. Ha ọbụla yiri ndụ nụ afọfọgbo ya. Nke gị nọchiri n'ụzọ afọfọgbo ya. Ashọbụ ibu mgbe ohe ya maka ashọbụ ọchụ ọkọ nwa ada ọkọ nwe mbọ ọsọ. Mana achị udo dịrị unu na eke, ya dịrị unu n'orie, ya dịrị unu n'afọ, ya dịrị unu n'akwọ. Mkpụrụ ụbọchị anọ na mkpụrụ ụbọchị asatọ na omenala udo dịrị unu. Emere ngịdị bụ okwu. Asha ogu ka nshi, onye achụtali mma na ogu emetali ya nshi. Onye ọbụla ga-echu na na-adịghị n'umere ya, ala chụrụ ya, ala Afrịka chụrụ ya, ala Naịjirịa chụrụ ya, ala ụlapụ Mbamishi chụrụ ya. Onye ọbụla gị gburu n'olulu, ọ ga-ịda na ya. Onye si n'ụlọ ndụ dịrị ya, onye si n'ụmụ ya were ndụ ka ya chụọ aja. Mana si udo dịrị unu. Chineke kere igwe, Chineke kere ụwa, ọtụmakwa ndị nsọ. Anya bụ odufe onye a na-achụ na abarala, anya bụ ọdụm ezumezu. Mana si ya zugbo ozugbo ha ọbụla bụ ha ọjọọ zụtara nụ ha ọma. Kwe anyị bara afọ 2023 afọ ọ ga-ịzanụ oku ọbụla na ụkpụrụ afọ ọ ga-ịzanụ na akụ, ọ ga-ịzanụ na ọmụmụ, ọ ga-ịzanụ na ọganihu, ọ ga-ịzanụ n'ihe nweta na ha akụ. Asha ojo mabụ ike dị mkpa n'ụkpa akụ bara uru, ọdịsọ bụ ka oshi, ọdịsọ bụ ka yahoo, ọdịsọ bụ ha omenala gị n'ọbụla nọ na-agara na-eri. Mana achị ya pụọ dịka osisi nọ na-aga mmiri, ya gajere unu na eke ga n'ure gaa na afọ gaa na mkpọ. Ndewo.
Thank you very much, His Excellency. I really appreciate it. It's time for us to embrace our language and to also put on the spotlight our language, because we cannot do without our language. Our language is who we are, and we are so proud. We are so proud to speak our language. Speaking English is just because it's a medium of communication. If not, we will have put this program on one of the African language, and we wouldn't mind to be speaking the African language. But to accommodate you out there, that is why we are still managing this English to do this program. But I really appreciate everyone coming out to the part of this conversation. Thank you for the pleasure of your time. His Excellency, one of the things that we are going to be also bringing out for the Supreme Council to look into is how we need to adopt a language in Africa that will be our official language, that will connect every one of us together, that we'll be speaking within ourselves. I think that is also overdue. That will be another conversation for another time, His Excellency. Thank you very much, sir, for giving us the privilege of your time to be here to be part of this conversation, and also to find solutions to some of the problems in our community and our society. I really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. And thank for the love, thank for the support. We believe that together we can do it, and together we can make this continent be a great continent. Your homecoming out to be part of it is, it's very, very great, and we appreciate it. God bless you, sir. We will round up this section from here, and I will see you again by the grace of God next week, and we'll come back again. Ojú kì í tọ́jú ojú òní tiwa ìbàjẹ́ òní bá ẹ má bínú èdè èbó mò ń sọ látàárọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ máa dágbére kúrò lórí àtàgbé ìyá pàdé wa lọ́jọ́ mẹ́jọ lágbára Èdùmàrè. Ire báyìí lójú owó ń rí, ire nílé wa, ire lọ́dẹ̀ wa, ire ní gbogbo tí a bá wà. Tá a bá wọlé kárí ire, tá a bá sùn kárí ire, lọ́sí pé tẹ́ bá fẹ́ polówó ọjà yín lórí ètò yìí, àyè wà pẹ̀lú ẹ wá polówó ọjà yín. Ẹ mọ̀ wípé ń tá a bá jọrò òun náà ni gẹ́gẹ́ báyìí làwọn àgbà sọ pé òun gún. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ọba tó wà lórí ètò tájọ ṣètò lónìí. Ojú òní tiwa ìbàjẹ́ òní bá wà nírí gbé sọnù gbé òṣèpọ̀. Ojú òní tẹ nìkan kan wa, èyí tí ń gbọ́, èyí tí wọ́n èyí tí ń ṣíà ètò wa. Ire náà ni kó máa wọlé ẹnìkan kan. Ẹ jẹ́ máa dágbére kó lójú òpó ètò. Orúkọ mi ò yípadà, èmi náà ni ọmọ yín ọ̀rẹ́ yín olùdarí ọmọ olùṣàgùtàn Samuel Olùṣègùn. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́lẹ̀ polówó ọjà yín, ẹ máa gbébọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ wa. His Excellency, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming out, and I really appreciate it. To say goodbye in your language, how can I say goodbye?
Wenokachibo.
Wenokachibo.
Yes.
Odabo. In Yoruba, they will say Odabo.
That's good.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate that. I'm learning something today. Thank you very much. I will see you next week. And please, let's do it together, everyone listening. Share this program. Share it as many times as possible. For His Excellency to leave everything that he's doing to be on this program, that is an honor. So you just need to share it. Share this program. Share this program. A monarch sitting on the throne and addressing us, that is a great blessing to this continent. Please share this program. Share it as many times as possible. And God bless you as you are doing so. See you again next week by the grace of God, and enjoy it. Keep watching the African Portal, and it's goodbye from here. Thank you very much, Mr. Excellency. I will see you next week. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Good double.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, everyone. God bless everyone. Enjoy it, listen to it, and share it. Let's round up with this and see you again by the grace of God next week on the same station, same time on the African Portal Radio TV International. Keep watching it. Our culture and our tradition is what we are promoting here. You also can be part of it. God bless you. Bye for now.
The African Portal Radio TV present la perfect service solution. Ilé-iṣẹ́ kan ṣoṣo tí wọ́n ti ń bá ní gbèrú káàkiri orígun mẹ́rẹ̀ẹ̀rin àgbáláyé. Bóyá ẹ fẹ́ gbèrú láti àwọn àyíká káàkiri orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà. Bóyá ẹ fẹ́ fẹ́rù ránṣẹ́ tí ò fẹ́ kẹ́rù yóò wọ one time. Lápò ni ẹ máa bọ̀, ibẹ̀ nìkan lẹ́tí lè fẹ́rù ránṣẹ́ tẹ́rù yóò ní bọ́wọ́ ìgbà bẹ́ẹ̀. Òun nìkan làwọn afọwọ́ ìsọ̀yà. Ilé-iṣẹ́ kan ṣoṣo tó léwájú àwọn ẹlẹgbẹ́. Wọ́n wà ní Sunnyside, Excellence Tower, room 518, 202 Road Back to Bukwe Street, Pretoria, South Africa. Ẹ lè pè wọ́n sórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí. +278 425 4494 tàbí 0735 805333. La Perfect Services Solution. Aṣíwájú láàrin àwọn ẹlẹgbẹ́. Best among others. Powered by the African Portal Radio TV.